नहमदुहु व नसल्ली अला रसूलिल करीम अम्मा बाद रब्bi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli rabbana zidna ilma Allahumma faqihna fid din. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So yesterday we started Surah An Nasr and we finished the word-to-word translation, and we also did some introduction, background, that when the surah was revealed. The surah came after the conquest of Makkah, most likely around after conquest of Makkah, when Prophet Muhammad SAW went for his first and only Hajj that Prophet Muhammad SAW performed. He went to Makkah and this surah was revealed over there. And I told even yesterday that this is the last complete surah that came to Prophet Muhammad SAW. This surah talks about victory, right? The name of the surah is Victory. Very interesting side note about the surah is that when the surah came and Prophet Muhammad SAW recited this surah to his companions, Hazrat Abu Bakr started crying. Why do you think he was crying? Can anybody think of a reason why somebody would cry that after listening to the news of victory? It's kind of, telling you, oh, the victory is coming. So you should be happy, right? Why would somebody cry? Any guesses? Rohan?
Maybe they're crying because they're happy, or maybe they're on the side that loses.
Okay, no, they're definitely not on the side that loses, but yeah, they're happy because it's finally victory. Okay. Anything else, Riz?
Maybe something like he said, sad happened. Like they didn't just lose, but maybe something else happened.
Or maybe something sad is about to happen.
Yeah.
Right? She's?
Yeah.
And Alicia, anyone?
Probably because of victory. Like people sometimes cry when they're overwhelmed.
Okay. Yeah, that's one reason. Okay. Anything else, Sumaya?
I don't know.
No. Okay. So, there's a thing that we all are here in this world for a purpose, right? We are here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us for a purpose in life. When the purpose ends, what happens after that? When your job is done, like for example, you're at some place for a project. You are, working for a company and your company sends you for a project to a different city. What happens when your project is complete? It's success. You deployed something. You were supposed to do the deployment and you deployed everything successfully. Everybody was happy, clapping, yay. What happens after that? Yes, Riz?
You're like no longer needed in that anymore.
In other words, time to go, right?
Yeah.
Time to go back. So imagine this as a project of Prophet Muhammad. This simply tells you how well the companions of the Prophet understood the reality of life. Just like we said, just like Sumaya said, I don't know. We don't know, honestly. Like, it's not just, you or anybody. It's us. We don't know. But imagine those people who were not even that much educated as we are right now. They understood the reality of life. They listened to this surah and they understood, oh, Prophet Muhammad's project is done, finished. It's time for him to go, most likely. He understood that Prophet Muhammad's days in this dunya are about to come to an end. Allah will call him back. So he felt that, okay, it's time for his death coming soon. And that's why he cried. Like, honestly, that amazed me. That how much insight people had at that time. This surah, anywhere the surah talks about Prophet Muhammad's death. It talks about victory. But that's the insight those people had. And that's the insights we are searching for. That Allah also give us That kind of, it's called in Arabic basira, insight, that we also want this kind of insight. When we read Allah's words, we understand to the level of Prophet Muhammad SAW and his companions. Yes, Riz?
I'm gonna say that maybe this is this is I don't know what's going on, but there's some background. But it's probably talking about see his forgiveness, and indeed he's ever accepting of repentance,
Mm-hmm.
and the victory and seeing people entering Allah's religion and groups. Maybe that's all connected to his death because his only job was to lead people to Islam. And now when he sees his help will come in the victory, and then he'll see people entering Allah's religion in big groups of people, then that means his job is done. He's no longer needed, which means it would be a sign for his death.
Yes, kind of. You're right. That everyone, it's not just Prophet Muhammad Sallam, all of us, we come to this world and there is a specific project we are on. Allah knows. Sometimes we ourselves don't know what we came here for. But we are here in this world until our last bit of thing, what we are here for, is done. We ate our last grain and we drank our last drop of water. We are here in this world. And when that's done, it's time to go. And that's the reality of life. So yeah, so absolutely, this is what it is. And for prophets specifically, they are really there for a mission. And when their mission is over, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls them back. Okay, so yes. So after that, we were talking about, as I think I mentioned yesterday as well, that it's a matter when Prophet Muhammad left Makkah, he left with a very heavy heart. Then a lot of things happened, battles happened, things happened. And then after 8 years, Prophet Muhammad came back to the city with success, that everybody in Makkah accepted Islam. People did what we call bay'ah, means they promised on his hand that they are all Muslims and they accept Prophet Muhammad as their leader and they accept Islam as their religion. All the idols that were placed in the Kaaba were broken, they were smashed, they were thrown out. And Kaaba became the house of Allah once again. Okay, what lessons do we learn? Let's go to the next ayah later. First, let's see what lessons can we learn for our own selves when we are up to certain thing, when we have something in our mind, when we are trying for something, when we are making dua for something. What do we have? Like, what do we learn from these two ayahs? Riz?
You could learn that you should ask forgiveness, not just for like when you're dying, but for anything.
Yes, again, just ignore the last ayah for a moment. Okay, let's remain to the first two ayahs where when we see that sometimes, as yesterday when we were talking about that, for quite a lot of years, not days, not weeks, not months, for a few years, hardly a few people accepted Islam. Hardly a few people. And then imagine 8 years down the line, everybody became Muslim. What is there for us? What is something that we should keep in our mind? I mean, I'm almost giving you that. Sometimes when we see something, it seems like this is close to impossible. What happens?
I don't know.
Yeah, so sometimes you feel like this thing, oh my God, this will never happen. How's that even possible? There's nobody with me. I don't have anybody. I don't have any friend. There's nobody there. But you don't know. what happens is that we look at what is happening right now. We don't have the ability to look at the future. We don't know what's going to happen in future. But what happens is we get hopeless very soon. Like we try one time something, it did not work. And we'll be like, okay, that's it, I'm done. You know, those same people who Prophet ﷺ preached, didn't, and preached, did not listen. For years, those people did not listen. But did he lose hope? He did not lose hope. He kept trying. Did he judge them? No, he did not. He kept trying. And you know, there are like so many people who might have hurt Prophet Muhammad a lot with their words, with their actions. And those same people were standing right there in Makkah, accepting Islam now and asking, okay, we are sorry. Can we start over? What did Prophet Muhammad do? He forgave them, each one of them. So the first thing here is don't lose hope. You never know whether it is an exam, whether it is some kind of, project you're working on, you feel like you will never be able to do it, whether it is making a friend, for example, making friends. You're at a new place, you want to make friends, and you feel like, I will never be able to do this. Well, just like we say never. So, we never know. And our problem is that we lose hope very quickly. We ask Allah one time, two times, and then we are like, okay, I'm done. Allah is not listening to my prayers. Looks like I'm never going to have it. Sometimes we think of something that we want or a place that we really want to go, but things just don't work out. But are they never going to work out? No, not necessary. They might work out a few years later. Remember, our timeline is different than Allah's timeline. Okay? We think on our timeline, but Allah gives us on his own timeline. And it may not be the same as ours. We might need things like today, tomorrow, yesterday, but Allah might give us those things 5 years, 10 years. We don't know when. So that is one important lesson that we learned, that do not lose hope. Be resilient, be persistent. This is all the surah teaches us. Keep trying and trying and trying. Maybe you want to memorize. I think Riz memorizes Quran, right, Riz?
No, not the whole thing, just the 30th Separa.
Yeah, so you're trying. So sometimes it happens that you get a block. What is it called? You just hit a block. You just can't do it.
Dead end.
Dead end, yeah.
Obstruction.
Yes, you feel like, okay, today just nothing is going inside my brain. Everything is going out. It happens. Sometimes you're studying and you can't just do it. I'm like, I cannot do anymore. Well, don't lose hope. There are days when things don't happen, and then there are days they just happen. There will be times we don't know what time Allah will listen to our prayers. Our job is to keep trying. Okay, so that is one very important lesson. Be persistent. What's the spelling?
P-E-R. I think that it should right click on that. Right click on persistent.
Yeah, this one does not give me the whiteboard micro. It does not give me, and I'm so much in a habit of doing that. So that's why I keep typing wrong spellings. So here, chalo, it's okay. Okay.
And that thing, I think that is correct. I'm not sure.
Maybe there's an E here. I don't know. I think there's an E here. No. Okay. So that's one thing. Okay, next, let's come to now. Imagine now that the victory came, and now that all those people who were so stubborn, they were not listening, they all now accepted Islam. Just think about winning a game, you know. It was a tough game. It took so much time, so much effort, so much hard work. Finally, our team won the game. How do we celebrate? Yes. Okay, who can tell? How should we celebrate?
Can you ask the main question again?
Yes. So have you ever played, do you play a game?
Yeah,
What do you play? Basketball, I don't know, football, anything?
yeah, football.
You play football? Okay. Your team won the game. How do you celebrate?
I just I just run around. I'm just overall happy.
Okay.
Like there's nothing else I do when I like win.
Yes. So what should we do when we are really, really, really happy? When we want to celebrate something. So what we have seen here is people go crazy when they want to celebrate. Have you seen that, right? You know, seen that on TV? Your team, your favorite team won the game, and like, you know, people are getting crazy. They're jumping up and down, dancing, coming out on the streets. And, you know, I mean, there are things like, especially if there's like really big games, then people do all sort of crazy things, blocking roads, you know, making things difficult for other people, shouting, playing music, loud music, you know, not letting anybody else sleep, not caring if there is like, you know, anybody sick or any other problems with people. So that's how sometimes people celebrate. And imagine this is a victory of that nature, a big, 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 huge victory for Muslims. But the thing is, this ayah teaches us that when we are trying, to win, we are humble. We try our best. We don't lose our humility when we win. We stay humble. We remain humble. So the three things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to do when we celebrate: glorify Allah, praise Allah, and seek forgiveness. Okay, so why glorify Allah and why praise Allah when you win? Rohan?
I don't know.
Why would you praise Allah for winning? You won, right? You worked hard, you won the game. Why should you praise Allah? Yes, Rohan?
Because like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like made you win, kind of.
He made you, okay. He gave you the ability to win, right? You could not have won without his
Help.
help. That's right. Anything else you want to add, Riz?
Well, no, I was just gonna say that it was because of him. He helped you win. That's what I was gonna say. What Rohan said.
Yes. Yes. So being humble at the time of winning is only possible when we attribute our win to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What did I say? Sumaya?
Yes.
Yeah, what did I say? You're on mute, Sumaya. Alicia?
Pardon?
I'm just asking. I said something about being humble. What did I say? I just want you to repeat.
I don't remember. Sorry.
Okay. What I said, and the reason why I am asking, because number one, I want all of you to be here, not anywhere else. And number two, some things are very important and they're supposed to resonate in your mind. Just by listening one time, sometimes it just vanishes. So it's important that some things are important that you should remember for your life. What I said was that you can only remain humble at the time of victory when you attribute your victory to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you attribute your victory to your own self, oh, I did it, then you can't be humble. You'll be proud and, on top of the world. The only way you will remain humble is when you attribute your win to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah is the one who created you, as Rohan said, gave you the ability to win in the first place. So unless you give the credit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you cannot remain humble. And that is the reason why we praise Allah for the victory. We don't shout, we don't scream, we don't dance. What do? We praise Allah. And remember the word alhamd. Who remembers the word hamd? It means praise and thanks. Remember, it means both praise and thanks. We praise Allah and we thank Allah, both at the same time. We thank Allah, who is extremely praiseworthy for everything that we get in life. Whatever success we get, we attribute our success to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the last thing, we seek his forgiveness. So I think that's where Riz wanted to share his thoughts. Yes, Riz. Why would you want to seek his forgiveness? You just won. You just had success.
Well, because like we said in the beginning, you should seek his forgiveness and do all that, because now you know that it's like his project was to convert everybody to Islam, which is Allah's religion, as he said in the second ayah. So now that his project is done, he is no longer needed. So he should seek forgiveness to Allah for this very matter, so that he doesn't have to die now. Because before the thing, we were like talking about how it like you said, why was Abu Bakr crying is because it was Abu Bakr's death. And so that is, it's his project that's done. And so he's no longer needed. So now that he's no longer needed, he would have to die. Yes. Now everybody converted to Islam.
Right. So when you say somebody has to die, dying is part of life. It has to happen, no matter it happens soon or it's late. It's not a form of punishment. Dying is not something that, dying is a process that happens in life. Just like you wake up in the morning, that's something that happens every day. You sleep, that happens. Same is dying. That's a reality of life. There's nothing wrong.
But that's not exactly what I meant. As in, now that his project is done, there's nothing for him in the future, so he could just go now. And for when you like die, you have something to die for, like old age, if you have like COVID, or you have cancer, something like that's going on. But then he didn't have anything. He was completely fine. All he did was finish this project, which now he doesn't have a project that he needs to do in the future, because everybody he needed to convert has converted to Islam. Allah. So now it's time for him to go.
Yeah. Okay. Let me give you a different perspective, especially when we talk about, since we have very less time. especially talk about seeking forgiveness, especially when the time where we actually succeeded. The success came, but instead of celebrating, like, doing all the ha-hoos, we are seeking forgiveness. And let's keep, this thing aside, and let's talk about our own selves. Like, for example, we did a really, really nice job on something. For example, somebody memorized the entire Quran. That's a success, right? That's a win. Now they are celebrating. But Allah says, seek forgiveness. Now, what I have, and people have different, explanation to this, but I can just tell you what I think about it, and which is, no matter how good you do something, like, you can give examples of any good deeds that you do. It could be praying, it could be fasting the entire month. Even fasting the entire month of Ramadan, what do you do after fasting? You celebrate, right?
Yeah.
It's a win. You celebrate. You fasted the entire month. Time for celebration. But what do we do when we celebrate? Again, we do istighfar. We seek forgiveness. Why? Because no matter how we do our good deed, I can speak personally about myself. I can not remember a single good deed that I may have done that I can say, oh, that was perfect. I did it perfectly. I couldn't have done it better. No, that doesn't happen that way. Everything that we do, there's always something that you'll be like, oh, I might have done this thing slightly better. We pray every day, and every day our prayer is short of something. We fast, and every time, we are short of something. Oh, I wished I read more Quran. Oh, I wished I have done this thing. There are like so many things that we do for ourselves, our families, but we cannot say that we did it with perfection. There's always something that we can think of that could have been done better. Because humans are that way. Humans are not perfect. And that is the reason why whenever although we got success, although we got happy, although it was a job well done, still there was room for improvement. It could have been done better. And that again, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to do this because Allah wants to tell us to do that. Prophets do best because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually making them do that. They are doing it directly. It's coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So yes, prophets are perfect. Their job is done perfectly. But this is for us because our jobs can never be perfect. There will be always something lacking. And that's why whether we succeed or we don't succeed, sometimes it happens when we don't succeed, we think, okay, this might have gone wrong. I might have done this wrong. That's why I did not succeed. I wrote a program, right? I wrote a code. It's not working. Until it's not working, you'll keep trying to troubleshoot. When it starts working, are you going to go back to troubleshoot and see how you can make that program even perfect? No, you're not going to go back. It started working. Boom, it's okay. But that's not the case when it comes to good deeds. Good deeds can always become even better. And that's why we keep asking Allah for forgiveness. So I hope that gets clear. Inshallah, we will start our new surah tomorrow. Jazakallahu khairan. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.